So do you believe that the blanket statement by the First Minister that she is sorry for all loss of life during the Troubles goes far enough to meeting the recommendation in the interim report, and that the Republican leadership should acknowledge and accept these crimes were wrong and to apologise to the families of those tortured and murdered? So do you really feel it went far enough?
Well, firstly, I mentioned before, I pored over every word of this report, and I stand by everything I wrote that you read out. Okay, what the IRA did to those families, the Internal Security Unit. They were out of, even with the context of the wickedness of the IRA, that Internal Security Unit took evil acts to a new level. And, I've mentioned this before, they also, outside of the actions they took against people they claim were informants, a number of which were not informants, and they knew they were not informants, they also then took action against family members, people with significant learning difficulties, children who are associated with these victims. And I know and have had personal testimony around a number of those cases. And those families remain obviously incredibly traumatised, but also still intimidated by all of that. So, I very much endorse, again, what I wrote in the report. With regards to the apology from the First Minister, I was pleased that the First Minister came out that day and spoke publicly about the Kenova report. Judith, I think, in this session, has articulated far better than I could about the importance of those apologies being very much victim-focused and agreed with victims as to what victims want to hear. And both with regards to the Republican movement and the UK government, I would endorse what Judith said around how those apologies should be done. They should be done once, and they should be done properly, and they should be done with the support and involvement of those victims. And that's something I think we're yet to see. But I was pleased, very pleased, that the First Minister took the step to come out and speak publicly on the day.
Do you want to maybe pick up on that? Do you feel it went far enough? You are obviously in continuing contact with victims. It wasn't victim-centred, and certainly there didn't appear to be. It was very bland, and I'm just keen to get your views.
I think, as John has said, and from the report asked for apologies from both the British government and the leadership of the IRA. The statement that was made was, a look maybe in the right direction, but it wouldn't meet the criteria for an apology as it would be accepted in any kind of international law or actually previous Northern Ireland practice, in that you have to be specific about who you're apologising to. You need to be specific about what you're apologising for. It has to be unequivocal. It has to include all aspects of the activity you're apologising for, and it needs to be delivered in a way which is agreed with and, in fact, led by the wishes, needs and rights of those who are harmed. So that's a process that hasn't started yet, really, in the kind of way it's envisaged in this report and the way it would be understood as an apology, which, properly marks full recognition and responsibility for the harm done in all aspects. And then you need follow through, don't you? It's, does that then bring us to a place where there is a future, fuller recognition and honestness and openness about the past on all parts? There are lots of things that have been talked about here that can build for education and communities and how we look back in the future. So it's a complex process. No, I don't think that what was given would constitute, an apology in those terms. But it is good that the word and the notion was present.